Hello everybody and welcome to another fun-filled episode of the Nonsense Retrospective. Joining me as always is Devon.
Hi guys, I don't have a Dark Souls 3 quote, I'm afraid.
Yeah, Bear Seek Less was last time.
I think I also used it for Dark Souls 1.
And as always, I am Rick. We're talking about Dark Souls again. Talking about Dark Souls 3. But before we get into that, there is a little announcement to be made.
Basically, going forward, there might be some scheduling issues because we're trying to do a few things behind the scenes. That's all the announcement is.
Nothing much more ominous than that. So, let's get into the nonsense asinine hypotheticals. Do you have one for me?
I do. It's a bit of a boring one, I'm afraid. You are allowed any fictional creature as a pet, and it will not harm you in any way. What do you pick?
It might be a mimic. Here's the thing. It's a standard shapeshifter, but mimics that are friendly can be really, really cool.
If it's a mimic, it has to have a defined base form that it's always in, just because otherwise it's a real cheaty answer.
Yeah. I'm guessing base form will likely just be the Eldritch Abomination or whatever. It probably will be able to just change into something in the house that it can just be at any point, and its standard base form will be a mutable piece of furniture or a neutral Eldritch Abomination when it's asleep.
Yeah.
Are you happy enough with that answer?
No, but it's good enough.
Well, it's because cheetahs already exist in the world, so I can't pick a cheetah.
Any mythical being. I want a cat that can run fast.
I mean, they're cool.
You can have a fucking dragon. You can ride that shit into town. Or a unicorn. Or a chimera. These are all very big creatures and they're completely loyal to you. Why would you be boring and be like, I want a mimic?
Aw, I mean, I could have gone for something that can grant wishes, but, that feels like it's cheating.
No. You can't have something that grants wishes. No.
Yeah, because, if you have something that grants wishes, then you just wish for more wishes. And that's even more cheating.
Most things that offer a wish have the fucking rule written in the contract that you can't wish for more wishes.
Yep.
I wish for more genies. No, you can't. Fuck you.
Yeah. Can't wish for more wishes, can't wish for more genies.
Dude, one of my favourite things is there's a comic of, you've unlocked me from my prison. You have 3 wishes. Okay? I wish my dog can talk. Granted. What next? And the guy just crouches down next to his dog and goes, good news, buddy. You got 2 wishes. It's adorable. I love it.
Yeah.
But yes, do you have a question for me?
My one for you is really simple, and I think it's one that you've asked me already. What's your Dark Souls waifu?
Gwyndon?
I'd find that very easy to agree with.
I'm not bothered about the snake parts.
Organic toys.
I don't know, man. There's not many people in Dark Souls that don't have some sort of defect either in their character or their appearance. Gwyndon is almost perfect in appearance, despite the aforementioned snakes.
Yeah.
You know, and I think his character trait of being a manipulative son of a bitch is a bit awful, but everyone in Souls manipulates you to a certain degree, and at least Gwyndon's a god, so yeah, Gwyndon.
Yeah. When I say Dark Souls, I mean the entire series, so not just Dark Souls 1, but yeah.
No, I get you, man, but as much as I like Lucatil, the dead flesh part of her is a bit too much of off-put for me, because it probably smells. I think I've said this before to you, at least in private, but I don't think I've said it on a podcast. I can put up with almost any physical defect, but smell is a bit of a deal breaker for me.
It's an unfortunate thing that the people that have an issue with that thing normally can't help it to a degree, but also...
I know enough nerds.
Yeah, things need to have gone wrong to a certain degree.
Yeah, okay, admittedly, if you have an actual problem, that's unfortunate, and I can only apologise, but I hang out with nerds, they don't have a problem, they just can't be asked to wash.
The fact that there is a rule on most nerd area walls saying, please bathe, this shouldn't have to be a rule, is telling.
My favourite one is, hey, you can afford a ticket to Comic-Con, you can afford a fucking stick of deodorant.
Yep. You can afford a can of Axe.
Nerds are gross. I'm sorry, it's a stereotype for a reason. But yes, what are we doing today, Rick?
We're talking about Dark Souls 3, and in this time we are the Ashen one. It's the 3rd Dark Souls, second of its name with Miyazaki at the helm. Memes aside, he does bring a certain degree of quality to the things that he touches, and normally when we start these things, we talk about our previous experience, and for me, it's the first Souls game that I bought close to release.
I like how we're talking about Dark Souls' first experience for the 3rd fucking time, Rick!
Yeah, but specifically, the previous experience is not just this, but this is the one that I did actually kind of sort of start with in terms of Dark Souls.
We all got this game on release, all being me, you, and 2 other friends of ours. And me and Matt had a bit of a mini race on the first day to see how far we could get.
Matt bought the game 3 times.
Yeah, he did. He's a fucking idiot.
Yeah, he bought the game on PlayStation and again on PC because he wanted to play it before midnight, and again on Xbox because that was the way that you could get the statue, because the special edition was sold out on PlayStation and PC.
Man, collector's editions are fucking rip-offs at the best of times. But when you've already bought the game twice and then you buy it again for the statue, you're a fucking moron.
At that point, just get a Funko Pop at that point.
I don't think any nerd has ever bought themselves a Funko Pop. I think because people don't know what to get them as gifts, they go, oh, they like X. Funko Pop has an X. Here is the X. And now I have 10 Funko Pops that I don't like.
Yeah, here's a generically nerdy shaped thing in the generic shape and form of something that people obviously like. Some of them are pretty good.
The only Funko Pop I like is depowered version of All Might, because his eyes look like that anyway.
Similarly, I think the Minions make very good Funko Pop.
Yeah, but Minions are fucking nothing design-wise anyway.
I like Despicable Me, but the fact is that Minions have been co-opted by Karens on Facebook.
Don't forget that Minions will canonically follow whoever is evil at the time, and because of this, they had to be frozen in time between 1939 and 1945, because by their own admission, they would have willingly followed Hitler.
Absolutely, they would have done.
That's the only fact I know about Minions.
So, the game starts you in a graveyard, and the shit that goes down in every Dark Souls before now is just failing to happen as it should. So, the universe is resurrecting canonical B-Team rejects to fulfill destiny, and you're one of them.
What was your first class for this game?
Herald.
I also picked the Herald.
Yeah, here's the thing. I didn't know that hybrid builds like that were a bit shit, so I just picked the one that had a nice mix of things that looked like the things that I wanted to use.
Yeah, I picked the Herald because before Dark Souls 3 came out, I was still really big on spear and shield builds before realising my true calling as Big Sword Man.
Yeah, the Herald starts with spear and 100% block shield, and a miracle with a crappy heal spell.
Yeah, the heal spells have gone downhill since Dark Souls 1. Dark Souls 1 heal spells were actually invaluable, but as soon as Dark Souls 2 came out, they got rid of the usefulness of heal spells by having life gems, and Dark Souls 3, they're even worse because of the mana bar system.
Yeah, that's the thing that happens. The mana bar is back since Demon Souls. Rather than having numbers of spells that you can cast based on the number of times you've equipped that spell and attunement, you've now got a mana bar which acts like a mana bar normally does in other games, and you use it to cast your spells or weapon arts. So, exploring the world and taking the embers of those who are refusing to link the flame, and assembling one entire hero, and in a twist on Dark Souls 1 of feeling of climbing to Lordran's highest highs, you start out at Lothric Castle, which is an endgame area, and you get a lift down away once you've been through the castle's outer wall defences to the Undead Settlement, which is kind of like a reflection of the Undead Burg. It's in the settlement that we start to feel the impact of the current regime. Preachers are convincing the everyman inhabitant of the Undead Settlement to go and sacrifice themselves to whatever. There's some early game optional choices like killing a friendly lady to fight the boss that was going to kill her later, or going into the swamp before the cathedral, but the majority of the game is on one or two pathways plus the DLC.
Yeah, but when you first got the game, obviously the DLC didn't exist.
Yeah, which is why we'll leave the talk about the DLC to the end. On the timeline that we existed, the game in vanilla, all said and done before any other DLC came along. And you can access the DLC before even beating your first Lord tier enemy, which are now called Lords of Cinder, although you probably shouldn't, because the boss at the end of that is a literal bitch and will push your shit in unless you're a parry god or level 80.
Well, it's very good, isn't it? Because I did a full playthrough of both DLCs of Dark Souls 3 on the channel. I had work on the day when I beat Lady Maria 2.0. What's her name?
Sister Frida.
And I was like, I can't talk and fight this boss.
Yeah.
I was like, I'm sorry guys, I'm pre-recording this because I can't. I just can't.
Like, it wasn't even your first attempt, was it, that you ended up putting as a video?
Oh, absolutely not. The first time I beat her second form, I had the iconic line of, oh, that was a fucking pain in the ass. We're done. No boss in Dark Souls ever has a third phase. Oh.
Dude, they even fake you out by giving you a Titanite slab after the second form.
Yeah, and I got pissed off because I'm like, that's it?
But then again, Titanite slabs they're finite, but they're actually pretty valuable. So it's because of this that Dark Souls 3 can feel a bit more linear. More of a single branching tree than the interlinked spiderweb that Dark Souls 1 was, or the choice of branches that Dark Souls 2 was. But rather than feeling restricting, I feel it allows them to put more effort to be put into the presentation, the progression, and the feel of the areas. And after your first Lord Soul, the Abyss Watchers, you have that little bit more choice. But it reunites again once you've done two more Lords. Aldrich if you go up, Yorm if you go down, with the endgame area of Lothric Castle again.
It's very interesting, isn't it? Because you have to fight the Abyss Watchers as your first big boss, and you have to fight Lothric as your last.
Yeah, there's an optional area from the castle that shows that not only time but also geography PvP is meaningless in FromSoft level design, and after the princes are dealt with, you have the finale of the Soul of Cinder. Now, the Soul of Cinder is a great boss because it incorporates motifs of the first and final boss feel of the more popular player builds through the ages. So you've got the Gwyn idea, but also the Dex Pyro, the Sorcerer build, and yeah, you beat the Soul of Cinder and you get your choice of ending.
Well, they straight up split that fight into two phases. The first phase is you have to fight a representation of everyone who has ever lit the fire, so let's make a boss that does every PvP build. And the second phase is, oh, you've beaten me down. I know, I'm going to unlock the art of the first one who linked the fire, Gwyn. And this one you can't parry, fucking bait.
Yeah. So you choose your ending, more than likely with a bit of work on from your part, because the harder endings to get both require a bit of legwork. There's the refusal ending where you kind of take the flame.
Oh, this one is straight up not even refusal, it's you steal the fire.
Yeah. So you get the Firekeeper to take care of the fire on your behalf because you think that fire should end.
And then to quote one of our friends, ha ha ha, you kill her after she takes it.
I mean, you can, but why would you?
Because it's funny and I'm edgelord, ha. He's not going to listen to this, it's fine.
One of the other endings is becoming the Lord of Hollows, which it involves doing a lot of evil things during the normal playthrough, but it's
evil's subjective.
It's arguably one of the better endings for humanity.
I don't think you really do anything evil.
I mean, you stab Anri through the face.
Yeah, but she survives it because she's a hollow.
I mean, maybe.
She's in the ending, dude. Or he. If you play as a woman, she's a he.
Anri is an ambiguous gender person who is always the opposite gender to you just because they can be typecast as your hollow spouse.
Which, kind of tells you what Miyazaki's views on marriage is.
Yeah.
But then again, they need to keep it a surprise, don't they? Because they can't tell you that that's how it works before the game starts, because then it ruins the whole mechanic. So I kind of understand it from a certain degree. I'm poking fun a bit. I don't actually think Miyazaki's against homosexuals.
Yeah. It's just very easy to assume the default heterosexual relationship.
If you think about it on the grand scheme of things, it's meant to be a ritual. It's not an actual marriage, as it were. It's a ritualistic marriage, and maybe the ritual requires you to have the opposite gender to you take part. There you go, explained in a way that's no longer homophobic.
Plus, Yuria even says, what lord doesn't take a spouse?
If you played a Cinders mod, you can marry certain characters, and you bet your ass I do every time. But one of the characters you can marry is Yuria, and she goes, I'm not the one you're supposed to marry, but I don't mind being your side piece. So that totally means that the marriage is just symbolic and not an actual marriage.
There's a way to cheese that as well in the mod. If you marry Yoel, you can stop him from ever dying by doing some skips. And if you keep asking him for gifts, he gives you all the dark sigils that you need for the Lord of Hollows endings.
I'd rather not marry Yoel. Like, you know who I marry every time because she's cute.
Yeah, it's Carla.
Yeah.
I was surprised that she wasn't your waifu.
Well, it was encompassing all of Dark Souls, and I'll be honest with you, Gwyndolin's the hottest and, cute.
And he appears twice.
Does he appear twice?
Well, he's 1.5 times. He's the top half of Aldrich.
Yeah, I don't count that as Gwyndolin, funny enough.
There is an unsatisfying ending where you just become kindling and continue the cycle the way that it's been going wrong for ages, but I feel the actual real endings are the End of Fire or the Lord of Hollows.
They are definitely the intended endings. If you get the bog standard ending, as it were, it's a real letdown. But I also think Miyazaki didn't intend anyone to get that ending. That's for people who want a speed run.
But as per FromSoft tradition has become, there is DLC, and the DLC is high quality. We have the Painted Word of Ariandel, accessible from the Cathedral of the Deep, where Frida, sister of Yuria from your home base, doesn't want the painted world to be reborn and is forcing a poor old man to keep the current one alive through self-flagellation. You gotta deal with her, knock her off her perch, and resume the natural order of things.
I do like if you talk to her after doing the Lord of Hollows ending, or even just being on that route with Yuria, she acknowledges that, oh, you're Yuria's pet, leave my shit alone, you deal with your shit.
Yeah. Basically says, you've got the outside world, you're going to be the lord out there, just fuck off. And if you do kill her and have her soul and take her to Yuria, she goes, oh, I know this soul. She's strayed from the path, sweep that under the rug. I don't blame you. The thing that you can get at the end of that DLC is access to DLC 2, which you can either do that or you can get all the way to the end of the game.
I don't like the Sister Frida boss fight. In case you're wondering why I said that weird, I fucked it up 2 different times before saying it correctly, so I don't do it. I get all the goodies I want in Ariandel, and then I beat the game normally, and then I play the other DLC.
DLC 2 is way bigger in both size and scope. It gives us another ending, not in the traditional sense, but in terms of actually capping off the saga as a whole. We get to see the end of ages, of fire, dark, blood, and ash. We fight Gale, who's a bit of a nobody, but he's so stubborn that he just refuses to fade away, and in doing so has become legendarily strong.
I'll be absolutely honest with you, the thing about this second DLC is you can draw direct parallels throughout the entire fucking thing with the DLC for Dark Souls 1.
Yeah.
Gale is just Artorias. You've even got a big scary dark dragon. There's not quite a analogue for Manus, but apart from that, the beats are the same, as it were.
The pygmies right there are the original pygmies that got the Dark Soul to begin with.
Allegedly. I don't quite buy that.
If they're not the originals, then they're the current inheritors. And the reason that Gale eats them is that they're so old and shriveled that they don't have any beating blood left. So he needs to eat it and digest it so that he has the pigment, so that when you kill him, you're able to take it with you. And he's fine with that. That's basically what he wants.
Not really, though. He's okay with it as a result, but it's not the result he wanted.
He doesn't mind sacrificing himself for the goal that he has, which is to give the blood of the Dark Soul to the painter. She's a bit of a nothing NPC in Ariandel, but she's kind of the most important one there because she paints the painted world.
Yeah, and it looks like she's painting the painted world of Ariamis in it.
Yeah, she's painting the next painted world.
Yeah, except it looks exactly like Ariamis, either because they couldn't be asked to make a new asset or because it's meant to be. It's hard to tell sometimes with Dark Souls whether things are just they couldn't be asked to make a new thing or if, there's lore significance. It's one of those things which the most depressing part of Dark Souls 3 is it was meant to wrap up the saga and give us answers. It did neither of those things.
No, because one of the standard endings is just the saga continues.
Disregarding the endings, we thought we'd get a lot more lore and background information from the DLCs, but we didn't. This entire DLC introduces the fact that Gwyn had another daughter.
Yeah.
But we didn't even get to see the daughter. Well, we saw the corpse of the daughter and that is it.
Yeah, we get to see the daughter and she has an egg. As soon as you touch the egg, you get transported to the end of time.
It's nonsensical.
If you beat Gale in one of the more climactic fights of the game, you end up with the blood of the Dark Soul, which you can then give to the painter who wants to paint a world for Gale, not knowing that he's dead. And in his story is an amplification of every NPC quest in all of Dark Souls, which is a shaggy dog story that culminates in you having to kill them. So, there is one more thing I'd like to talk about with Dark Souls 3. This is the one that's most open to modding.
As long as you don't connect to the internet with a modded game, sure.
If you connect to the internet with a modded game, you will get banned. And if you do get banned, then you get put on the banned server, which is one of those things that Bandai Namco they're nice enough to provide a secondary server for banned people.
The thing that makes me laugh still to this day, because he's had such terrible luck with it, is Chris doing the visual mods that change nothing about the game other than how it looks. And he got banned. He messaged Bandai and they went, okay, sure, don't do it again. And then he got banned again.
Yeah, because he didn't disable it in time. And it saw that he still had it available. And yeah, it just automatically flagged him up as having an illegal modification to the game files. And it's like, oh, no, this must be a cheat.
I will laugh at it because it will never not be funny, but it is unfortunate.
So, Cinders is the name of the most popular mod. It's an evolving ecosystem of different mods, different changes, sometimes original content, normally it's something from somewhere else.
The thing that gets me the most is it seems to flip-flop between versions over being too easy and too hard.
It's basically the team's first attempt at balancing, and they're always overcompensating. But that's kind of fine, because it shows how difficult it is for the real team to do it.
It's like, the game's too easy because you just got Solaire doing everything for you. Okay, we're limiting summons to this. Now summons are worthless.
Yeah. You can now only summon when you're embered. Okay.
Well, it's worse than that. Now you got to use MP, and there's a health limit, and there's a time limit, and you have to re-up the summon every so often. So if you actually want to summon, you now have to spec into it, which is fine, but it means most people aren't going to bother.
And the summon is also relevant to the area that you're in, which sometimes is really cool, but sometimes is awful. Like, the one that's the most double-edged sword is the wolf in Ariandel.
Oh yeah, you said it's so big it takes up most of the screen.
Yeah, it's massive. Half the time it will jump off the universe and die, because it gets so overzealous at attacking something that it just overshoots and falls off the cliff. If they made it a smaller wolf, because there are smaller wolves in there, then it would have been cool.
Oh, you know damn well they were going for coolness factor.
They have some cool ideas. Let's get into our final segment. Do you have a favourite moment?
Carla's dialogue when you convince her to teach you miracles.
It's a little bit cute, isn't it?
It's adorable. It's like, I'm a wretched child of the dark. I don't know anything about miracles. It's like, can you teach me anyway? And she's like, okay, but I'll have no sniggering should I err.
Yep.
It's adorable.
Here's the thing, you recruit her to teach you dark sorceries, and literally everything you give her is pyromancy and miracles.
But yes, do you have a favourite moment, Rick?
My favourite moment is a little bit more personal. It's going through the Cathedral of the Deep for the first time. It's the first zone I ever did in any Dark Souls game where I didn't have my hand held, either by the game or by another player. So when I was going through the Undead Settlement, I had Matt helping me.
What about the Crystal Sage area?
Yeah, he helped me through that as well. So the Cathedral of the Deep was the first zone that I did completely on my own. I also count the High Wall as a part where the game is holding your hand.
Yeah, because there's no boss fight there, and it's overall an easy little area.
Yeah, and by the time you get to Vort, you've probably got some cool weapon. There's the Claymore there, there's the Deep Axe there. You'll have a build by that point. So it's the tutorial area that's the real tutorial area, not just fight Gundyr, learn how to press R1.
Come to think of it, Gundyr is definitely the most punishing tutorial to date.
Yes, I think he's also a rag on people's complaints about Dark Souls 2 being a load of dudes in armor, because he starts as a dude in armor and then he erupts into spiders.
Even without the eruption part, he is a unique dude in armor, because he doesn't just have a big sword.
Yeah, he's got a halberd.
It is, and he moves in a way that no other boss, to my knowledge, moves before then.
Yeah. He can turn on a dime and he jumps with it. And you get to see him in his full glory if you do the optional area. But yeah, my favourite moment is me doing the Cathedral of the Deep. Do you have a weakest link?
My weakest link is the fact that I'd say the majority of Dark Souls 3 is Miyazaki stroking his dick saying, look how good Dark Souls 1 was.
I feel that to a degree.
I don't blame him. Dark Souls 1 was a good game, and I don't think anyone expected it to be as good as it was. However, the fact that the entirety of Dark Souls 3 feels like Miyazaki stroking his dick over how good of a job he did over Dark Souls 1, it's kind of lame.
But here's the thing. I think he knew that he could make a good game by the time he was doing Dark Souls 1, because he'd already done Demon Souls by then. He was basically paid to make a all-systems version of Demon Souls.
The only reason it wasn't called Demon Souls 2 is because Sony owned the name.
Yeah.
It's just a shame. I feel like it could have been a bit more unique. I didn't like Bloodborne as a game, like playing it, but, you know, stylistically, it was a good game. But we'll get into that more when we discuss it properly as part of a retro. So, Rick, I suppose it's only fair that I fire the question back at you. Do you have a weakest link?
My weakest link is probably actually Ash Lake, because although it's nice to see that area again, in terms of, yeah, this is what happened to Dark Souls 1 zone, and it went to shit, this is what happened. It's probably the most inconsequential zone in the entire game.
It's also very clearly unfinished.
Yeah, just like the same area in Dark Souls 1, where you just have copy-paste demons.
It's something FromSoft, especially with the Soul series, suffers from, and that is, here's a zone we couldn't finish in time, it's not interesting, but it's here, it pads out the gameplay.
Yeah, here's a corridor, it's full of men.
Every single Dark Souls game has at least one area which is clearly not finished, and they just threw shit on it and like, yeah, it's a zone, it's done there.
But yeah, do you have an MVP?
Firekeeper.
Yeah, she's a very good one for this. She's with you all the time. She's giving you good advice. Even when you're trying to do something evil, she stands by you.
She does. She is your support the entire game. As you said, even if you do something evil. I also like how it's something they started with the Dole and they kind of carried it over to the Firekeeper, and that is if you do gestures to her, she gestures back, and it is adorable.
Yeah.
Too long didn't read. She supports you through the game, and she's adorable. Therefore, she is my MVP. So, Rick, I'm going to fire the question back. Who's your MVP for Dark Souls 3?
In a similar vein to you giving it to the Firekeeper, I'm going to give it to Ludleth. He's the little lord who could, and he's a very similar vein to the Firekeeper. He's someone who gives you very good advice, and he gives you the majority of the lore that's not just things that you find in item descriptions, and he's a very good secondary person to have in your base. He's been there, done that, done the right thing, and he's trying to do the right thing again. So I'm giving it to Ludleth of Corland.
He's your boss weapon guy.
Yep, he's the one who gives you your boss weapons.
Well, after you talk to him for the first time, when you leave, he's got this dialogue, and it's to "Low us now up of our purpose. 5 thrones will take 5 lords as kindling for the linking of the fire. The fast fading flame must be linked to preserve this world. A reenactment of the first linking of the fire. So it is, I became a Lord of Cinder. I may be but small, but I will die a Colossus. That is fucking badass.
Yeah, it is. He's a very good character in this. He's a little pygmy with no legs, and he's probably no good in a fight or anything. He never tries to fight, but is a little badass.
It's very much implied through dialogue that he was part of an adventuring party, and he's the last one who made it to the throne. And even though he was the last one, he was like, everyone else has given their lives for this cause, so why would I save myself at this point? And he sacrifices himself willingly.
They have given their all, so too must I.
Absolutely. There's dialogue that he gives where he's like, you're kind of a dick, but it's like, you can't deny the fact that the guy has a courageous soul.
And it doubles down because when he's asleep, you even hear him like sleep talking about how horrible it was to get burnt alive.
Yeah, that can't be good.
And yet he's still willing to do it again for the sake of the universe.
Yeah, which kind of feels like, hey, if you don't do the standard ending, you're kind of a dick.
But yeah, that's pretty much it from us for the Nonsense Retrospective this week. If you would like to get in touch with us, you have our comment section on YouTube, or if you would like to get in touch with us via email, if you're one of our listeners on one of our audio platforms, you have our email address at nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. Once again, that's nonsensereviewuk@gmail.com. And if you've made it this far, as always, you are our favourite people, and it's going to be goodbye from me.
And thus the fire fades.